Sarah did not know how long she slept that night, but she had been tired enough to sleep deeply and profoundly. Too deeply and soundly to be disturbed by anything.
Oh, something's happening. It's the nails on the wall.
When she awoke at last, it was slowly and sleepily, as one who is not quite sure where the boundaries lie between waking and dreaming. She felt warm, comfortable, perhaps even too warm, and that, of course, she could not believe. The attic was never so warm and cozy except in her most beautiful supposings.
What a nice dream. I don't want to wake up.
But even though she kept her eyes closed tightly, she could not stay asleep. Something in the room was forcing her to awaken. It was a sense of light and a sound. The sound of a crackling, roaring little fire.
What could it be? Oh, I haven't awakened. I am dreaming yet.
She sat up, resting on her elbow, and her breathing came fast.
It isn't melting away. I have never had such a dream before.
She scarcely dared to stir, but at last she pushed the bedclothes aside and put her feet on the floor.
I can smell it. I can smell the fire. And food. It feels real, but it can't be. It's bewitched. Or I'm bewitched, and I only think I see it all. Oh, but if I can only keep on thinking it, I don't care.
She sprang up, touched the table, the dishes, the rug. She went to the bed and touched the blankets. She took up the soft, wadded dressing gown and suddenly clutched it to her breast and held it to her cheek.
It's warm. It's soft. It's real. It must be.
She almost staggered to the books and opened the one which lay upon the top. Something was written on the flyleaf. To the little girl in the attic, from a friend.
You conveniently switched to the Lascar's voice. I mean, I kind of figured that, but still.
When she saw that, she put her face down upon the book just for a moment and burst into tears. Someone cared. In a moment, she collected her wits and ran to the attic door to signal her companion.
Becky, wake up! Come and see!
Miss? Becky stared around the room, her eyes moving from one item to another, growing larger with every moment. The soft slippers, the fire, the books. Around and around her gaze went until she looked quite dizzy with it all.
Oh, miss, how can it be?
I don't know. Maybe it was magic after all. The magic that won't ever quite let the worst things happen.
She removed the covers from the dishes on the table.
Look, Becky, muffins. Still warm.
If it's magic, miss, then do you think it could melt away? Hadn't we better enjoy it quick?
Why is that funny?
Just because Becky's like, let's eat it, let's go. Let me put it in my pocket for later.
And she picked up a muffin and crammed as much as she could into her mouth, all at once.
Who said I would share my muffins with you, Becky?
I'm pretty sure that's Sarah doing that.
Oh.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
It was you. Stop, you'll make yourself sick. Maybe we do only have this for a moment, but if that's so, we should enjoy it the best that we can. And that means eating slowly enough that we taste it.
They sat before the blazing fire and ate the warm, nourishing food, and they could not help looking at each other in a kind of joyous wonder. The sleepy comfort, which at length almost overpowered them, was a heavenly thing. It was the drowsiness of happy, well-fed childhood, and they sat in the fire's glow and luxuriated in it. Reckon we'd better get down to work, miss, unless the magic's gone and made Miss Minchin disappear, too. Hold on, let me read that. Reckon we'd better get down to work, miss, unless the magic's gone and made Miss Minchin disappear, too.
I suppose you're right. We wouldn't want her to come up here looking for us now. I don't know if all this will still be here when we get back. Maybe it was only lent to us for one day, because we needed it so badly.
If it ain't here in the evening, miss, it's been here this morning anyways, and I shan't never forget it.
She looked at each particular thing and pointed them in turn, as if to record them in her memory.
The fire was there, and the table was before it, and the lamp was there with its light rosy red. And there was satin on your bed, and there was soup and sandwiches and muffins there was.
Together, still wrapped in the warmth of their secret, Becky and Sarah walked down the narrow attic stairs and back into their lives of drudgery. Yet Sarah could not help but be changed by the experience. She walked into the school, and with a springing step, color in her cheeks and a smile hovering about the corners of her mouth.
Oh, Miss Minchin's gonna be ticked because they're supposed to be all like super upset and starving, and then they're like, ha ha, we're happy. It's gonna get ugly.
Her high spirits were quite astonishing to see, especially the one who had expected her to be humbled and weakened.
Yep. Is that an abacus over there? Sorry, I just noticed that. Sure looks like one. Okay, sorry. What is the meaning of this? You do not look as if you realize that you are in disgrace. Are you absolutely hardened? I beg your pardon, Miss Minchin. I know that I am in disgrace. Be good enough not to forget it, and look as if you had come into a fortune. It is an impertinence. And remember that you are to have no food today. Yes, Miss Minchin. If the magic had not saved me just in time, how horrible it would have been. Oh, I hope I... Can I quick save?
Well, I want you to do a real save this time since it's been 3 weeks.
Okay. Save.
And save slot 4. Alright. And return.
Okay. I mean, I'm not hungry anymore so much, so I'm not feeling like hunger needs to be a thing. What am I going to need? Pride. Well, I don't know. I never really totally processed what it means from that angle.
These are attributes used in your events. So
Yeah.
you used up a great deal of hunger in that because that event required you to be hungry.
Yeah. I have a fair amount of everything, so I think I'm pretty safe. I could probably use some pride and some pain. Some chill. Sorrow. What gives me sorrow? That's the sad. Oh, it's fatigue. Oh, cloud. Sad cloud. That could give me pain, too. That could get me sad cloud. Okay, so I think... Yeah, let's do that. I got a sad cloud. I am really good at getting chill.
You're really good at wasting fatigue.
I'm always going to get fatigue. I think that's sort of partly the point. I got 2 sorrow. That's hard to get.
The gifts in the attic had not disappeared. In fact, they had increased. That first night, Becky and Sarah had returned to the attic to find the table set once more, now with cups and plates for both of them, a new supper, and a vase with fresh flowers on the mantelpiece.
But where's the flowers?
After that, there seemed to be no pattern to it, but every day or so some new comfort or wonder would materialize when no one was watching. The ugly walls were covered with pictures and draperies. Books were stacked into place, the remains of old meals were cleared away, and new food left in its place.
It is exactly like something fairy come true. Is this my garret? Am I the same cold, ragged, damp Sarah? And to think I used to pretend and wish there were fairies. I feel as if I might be a fairy myself and able to turn things into anything else. I feel as if I might wish for anything, diamonds or bags of gold, and they would appear.
As best as she could manage, she split her bounty with Becky. The furnishings were difficult for a little girl to move unheard on her own, and the books were of no interest to her friend, but other things could be shared.
Why doesn't Becky just live in her room with her? I mean, she's got a fire. That would seem like the logical choice.
A new mattress had appeared, and so Sarah's old thin one was moved and stacked atop Becky's, along with half of the new blankets and pillows, and Becky proclaimed it the most comfortable sleep she'd ever had.
Aww.
But where does it all come from, miss? Who does it?
Isn't it more beautiful not to know?
It's just that...
Becky pointed to the pink and white lilies in the vase, whose petals erupted outward like a joyous shout.
The little lily princess.
I remember you telling stories about heaven, miss, and the fields of lilies. Do you think it's angels come to help us?
I thought she was going to ask if we're dead.
Because if it is, miss, I think I'd better get back to church right quick to say my thanks.
I'm so glad I don't do Becky's voice, because her lines are hard. That's a nice thing to do, whether it's angels or fairies or something else. But let's not try too hard to solve the riddle. If it is fairies, they might disappear if we try to catch them.
Elsewhere, others were still unaware of the magic, but not blind to its effects.
Sarah Crew looks quite unusual lately.
Absolutely fattened, I'd say. Don't know how she done it, considering.
Don't be ridiculous. She has always had plenty to eat. I have provided for her out of my own generosity.
As you say, ma'am.
There's something very disagreeable in seeing that sort of thing in a child her age. It might almost be called defiance.
I heard a story among the girls once about that Sarah, and her saying what might happen if people found out if she really were a princess.
Rubbish! Don't talk nonsense! I don't know why I'm speaking to you anyway. Get back to your work.
Yes, ma'am. At the beginning of the next week, a man knocked on the door of Miss Minchin's school. When Sarah was sent to answer it, she found no one there, only a selection of parcels. She laid the 2 largest parcels on the hall table and was looking at the address when Miss Minchin came down the stairs and saw her.
Take the things to the young lady to whom they belong. Don't stand there staring at them.
Oh, it's you.
They're my packages, not yours.
I wanted to see what's inside.
They belong to me. To you? What are you talking about? I don't know where they came from, but they are addressed to the little girl in the right-hand attic. That is where I sleep. Becky has the other one. Open them at once. She's going to take my stuff.
Sarah did as she was commanded. Inside the packages were pretty and comfortable clothing, dresses, shoes, stockings, and gloves, and a beautiful coat. There was even a nice hat and an umbrella.
A whole umbrella! It's like they knew.
They were all good and expensive things, and on the pocket of the coat was pinned a paper, on which were written these words: "To be worn every day, will be replaced by others when necessary."
You did the voice of the guy by the fire, the sickly.
Miss Minchin was quite agitated.
Sarah, dear, is it possible that you do have living relatives in this country? An uncle or cousin of your father's, perhaps? None that I've ever known. Papa never told me anything about family in England. Well, someone is very kind to you.
Sarah could not know what thoughts were racing behind Miss Minchin's eyes, but the change in her voice was clear.
As the things have been sent, and you are to have new ones when they are worn out, you may as well go and put them on and look respectable. After you are dressed, you may come downstairs and learn your lessons in the schoolroom. You need not go out on any more errands today. I am to be a student again? It doesn't seem real. Oh, look at all. Remember back in the day when I was fancy and I have nothing? All my efforts.
You also lost all your fatigue, so I mean...
I got to sleep. That's a plus. Oh, look at this. I remember when I had these toys to play with toys. Oh, it's a simpler time. What about Becky? Okay, I have no idea what I'm going to need. I feel like I should be allowed to do a quick save.
Sure.
Because there's no precedent for this. Okay. Am I going to get talk to the fancy people again? Or do I need to talk to Becky? Because Becky's going to need, like, sympathy. Okay, what's sympathy? I don't remember. Oh, hearts. Okay. Sympathy and Grace sounds useful. It's Grace. It's a little angel-y looking thing. Grace, that gives me a lot of stuff. I don't know what I'm going to need. Surely they wouldn't need, 20 knowledge or something. That gives me a little bit of everything. That's good. No. Yeah. No. She really likes to read. I want to give her at least one day of reading. She really would make her happy. Where's the sympathy one? I'll do that one. Okay. This is stressful. Oh, look, I'm fancy again. I'm super sympathetic. Look at that. I was productive. Well, I was, just so you know.
In the afternoon, Sarah and Becky sat together on Sarah's new couch in the beautiful attic hideaway.
How in the world did they get a couch into the attic?
Why not?
And what does this have to do with the nails in the wall? I mean, was
the
that...
nails in the wall for the curtains and the pictures.
I thought maybe so, but still, like... How?
Well, he's very dexterous.
Yeah.
He's very agile.
Clearly. Or the monkey did it.
No one else had yet been invited to view the changes, but every student had seen Sarah in her fine new clothes, sitting back in her place of honor in the schoolroom.
I'm not sure who I am anymore.
Are you making something up in your head, miss?
What?
When you stare at the coals like that, all dreaming like, it usually means you're making a new story.
Not this time. I wonder what I ought to do. It seems like it can't be fairies, now that other people have seen the magic happening. Miss Minchin thinks I might have relatives that I don't know about.
Well, if you don't know, you wouldn't know, would you, miss?
But if there is a person, a real person, who's doing all this for me, then somehow or other I must find out who it is so that I can thank them. Isn't that so? I was just thinking that. We need to be thankful.
Okay.
She hasn't, she's just been sitting there eating muffins and not thinking about who did this for her.
Okay.
Well, she knows it's partially from, the attic guy.
Okay.
She should know that at least.
It seems so, miss, but you don't know where they're at. But they know where you're at, sure enough.
Why don't you leave a note in your room for them, Sarah?
Seems if they wanted to talk to you, they could go ahead and do it.
Maybe it's a riddle that I'm meant to solve. With magic, there is always a challenge. I hope I will think of something soon. For now, if you sit still, I will get one of the new books and read it to you. If you sit still, what is she, like a child? What was that?
Something's there, miss. It was a strange little sound, like a soft scratching.
It's the rats. It sounds rather like a cat trying to get in. Oh, is he going to come in and eat? Oh, this is bad.
I thought you didn't like a rat.
No, the cat's going to come in, and then somehow or other, she's going to find out about all this stuff up there, and it's going to be bad.
Why would it matter? She's royalty again.
If she's really royalty, why can't she live downstairs?
Perhaps she likes it up here with Becky.
I don't like this. I don't like that cat.
Sarah climbed up to peer out of the skylight.
Or maybe they gave her a cat to get rid of the rats. That could be it, too. Oh, it is Tran. He has crept out of the Lascar's attic again, and he saw our light.
Are you going to let him in, miss?
Yes, of course. It's too cold for monkeys to be out. They're delicate. I'll coax them in.
She opened the skylight and spoke to the monkey in soft, coaxing tones, the same as she would use on a sparrow or a rat or even Miss Minchin's cat Tibble. After a moment's hesitation, the creature seemed grateful for the invitation into warmth. He hopped through the skylight and ran through the room in a great circle, even climbing over Becky's lap.
Oh, his tail tickles.
After his initial exploration, the monkey curled up in a heap on a soft blanket and fell fast asleep.
Aww. Poor little thing. I wonder how long he was out there.
What shall you do with him?
We don't have proper food or water for him here. What, like you don't have proper water? What is proper monkey water? We don't have proper food or water for him here. I will have to carry him next door to his owners. I hope he stays asleep. I am not sure how Miss Minchin would react if a monkey were running loose in her school.
In the house next door, the monkey's absence had not yet been noted. Mr. Carrisford, himself still an invalid, was once again entertaining a visitor.
What news? Did you find the child the Russian couple adopted?
Am I that guy? Also?
Yes.
Okay.
Her name is Emily Carew. She is much younger than Captain Crew's little girl. I have seen and talked to her. She is not the child we are looking for. Then the search has to be begun all over again. Come, we'll find her yet. We will go to France together. Paris, of course, but we might also consider Bordeaux. The climate there will be kinder to you this season. Yes, we must begin at once. No time should be lost, and yet... You seem reluctant. We could survey the schools of London if you wish to remain longer. You might have been wrong about France. Many British officers send their offspring here. No. There is a child in London who interests me, but she is not a student. A poor little serving drudge in the house next door. Ram Das told me of the child's miseries, and together we invented a romantic plan to aid her. It gave us something to plan and think about in these long, dark days while you have been gone. Since I could not find the child we sought, I could at least bring comfort to some other parentless soul. If we do leave for France, I must consider what to do for that child. It would be cruelty to abandon her now. A child without family. Perhaps you should bring her with you. She might prove a companion for Crew's child if you find her. No. It would be unkind to pluck a little London girl from her home and spirit her off to another country where she knows no one and does not speak the language. She does not even know me. We have never met. I have played the mysterious benefactor, changing her life from a distance. If Ram Das were not so agile and soft-footed, it would not have been possible. He has crept into the child's very bedroom unheard to deliver her our gifts. Ah, here's the man himself. Ram Das salaamed respectfully, but with a touch of excitement in his eyes. Sahib, the child herself has come, the child whom we have discussed. She brings back Tran, who has again run away to her attic under the roof. I have asked that she remain. It was my thought that it would please you to see and speak with her if your strength is sufficient for a visit. Yes, I think I should like to see her this once. Only once, Sahib. It would do the child no kindness to befriend her now, only to abandon her at once. Carmichael has returned from his journey without success. As soon as possible, we must embark for France to continue the search. You are not yet recovered. I will not allow excuses to hold me back from doing what must be done. I will go at once. I must. That has nothing to do with this child. Please, go and bring her in. As Ram Das left the room, he turned to Carmichael with a sad little smile. You see, that is another reason that I cannot bring the girl with me to Paris. I fear it might be too tempting to see her as a substitute for the child that I have not yet found. I will leave some funds in trust for her with the solicitor and wish her well, and that will be an end to it. She will never know. Then Sarah came into the room, carrying the monkey in her arms. He had awakened, and he evidently did not intend to part from her if it could be helped. He was clinging to her and chattering, and the interesting excitement of finding herself in the Indian gentleman's room had brought a flush to Sarah's cheeks.
Your monkey ran away again. He came to my window, and I let him in because it was so cold.
That was very thoughtful of you.
Shall I give him to the Lascar now?
How do you know he is a Lascar?
Oh, I know Lascars. I was born in India.
The Indian gentleman sat upright so suddenly with such a change of expression that she was for a moment quite startled. The monkey escaped from her grasp and off to the Lascar's arms. Born in India? Come here, child. Sarah went to him and laid her hand in his, as he seemed to want to take it.
You live next door at Miss Minchin's seminary, a school. But you are not one of her pupils.
I don't think I know exactly what I am. At first I was a pupil and a parlor boarder, but now I sleep in the attic next to the scullery maid.
He raised her hand in his, eyes wide, and then turned away.
Question her, Carmichael! I cannot!
What is this about?
Mr. Carmichael laid his hands on Sarah's shoulders and gently guided her a few steps away from the fragile man. He stooped a bit, lowering his eyes to her level, and spoke soothingly.
What is your name, my dear?
Sarah.
What do you mean that you were a pupil at first, Sarah?
When I was first taken there by my papa. But he died. He lost all his money and there was none left for me. There was no one to take care of me or to pay Miss Minchin.
How did your father lose his money?
He did not lose it himself. He had a friend he was very fond of. It was his friend who took his money. He loved his friend too much. He trusted him. He should not.
Now came the quavering voice of the invalid gentleman.
Perhaps the friend might not have meant to do harm. It might have happened through a mistake.
Sarah's response was solemn.
It did not matter for my papa. The shock of it killed him.
What was your father's name, child?
His name was Ralph Crewe, Captain Crewe. He died in India.
Ah! It is the child! The child!
His eyes bulged in his head, and he went quite pale before exploding in a fit of coughing.
Tom!
The Lascar ran to his side at once, while the other gentleman looked away and cleared his throat.
Yes, well, Ramdas is a devoted servant.
Sarah could not understand his words, overwhelmed as she was with the strength of the Indian gentleman's reaction. It seemed for a moment as if he might die right there in front of her. Ramdas, the Lascar, poured out drops from a bottle into a snifter, and held it to his master's lips while soothing his trembling shoulders. With the two of them so evidently occupied, Sarah turned in confusion to the other man in the room.
What child am I?
Mr. Carrisford was your father's friend, Sarah. Don't be afraid. We have been looking for you.
For me? Then he was the one who lost my papa's money?
He only thought that he had lost it. It was a mistake. But he believed that it was true, and because he loved your father so much, his grief made him so ill that he was not in his right mind. He almost died of brain fever, and long before he began to recover, your poor papa was dead. He did not know where to find you. He believed you were in school in France or in Russia. We have been searching the world for you.
And I was so near.
Ramdas clasped his master's shoulder in a gesture of support. Mr. Carrisford looked calmer now, leaning back in his chair and breathing freely, though still pale.
I did not guess. Nor did I dream that you were his friend's poor child. I saw only that you were a little girl who was kind to others and was not treated with kindness. Ram told me how he saw you go by on your errands, looking so sad and neglected. Now you slept in a cold and joyless garret. We wished to make you happier. And so I climbed through your window to bring you gifts and try to make you comfortable.
Sarah's face lit. She walked up to Ramdas and Mr. Carrisford, her hands clasped to her breast.
You sent the things to me, the beautiful things. It is you who are my friends.
And with that, there were many tears and embraces.
You have your father's sweet face, but those eyes must be your mother's.
They are mine. People often say that they are strange, so they must not look like my mother's, because she was beautiful.
Ramdas chuckled deeply at her words.
Little one, many things can be both strange and beautiful.
Oh!
Mr. Carmichael stepped in, now, to turn matters back to the practical.
Sarah, now that we have found you, we wish to begin plans for your future.
Your father's share of the diamonds will be yours, but for now you may wish to complete your schooling.
She is not to return to that seminary. They have abused and mistreated her quite enough.
I need not go back. I am glad. What about Becky? Rescue Becky!
Carmichael, go and speak to this Miss Minchin.
She'll be very angry. She does not like me, though perhaps it is my fault, because I do not like her. However, there is someone special that must be told.
At this point, there came a knock upon the door. It seemed that Carmichael would be spared the trip, for the visitor at the door was none other than Miss Minchin herself.
I am very sorry to disturb you, Mr. Carrisford, but I have explanations to make. I am the proprietress of the Select Seminary for young ladies next door. I have come here as a matter of duty. I have just discovered that you have been intruded upon through the forwardness of one of my pupils, a charity pupil who intruded without my knowledge.
She turned upon Sarah.
Go home at once. You shall be severely punished for this.
Both Ram Dass and Mr. Carrisford each laid a protective hand on one of Sarah's shoulders.
She is not going. Her home for the future will be with us.
With you? That is most...
Mr. Carrisford, madam, was an intimate friend of the late Captain Crewe. He was his partner in certain large investments. The fortune which Captain Crewe supposed he had lost has been recovered.
Sarah's fortune?
Certain events have increased it enormously. The diamond mines have retrieved themselves. There are not many princesses, Miss Minchin, who are richer than your little charity pupil will be. Aghast, she looked back and forth between the members of the room, as if expecting someone to admit to the jest, but no such explanation was forthcoming. The muscles in her neck tightened visibly as she swallowed.
I see. That is most fortunate for her. Until now, I have been forced to do everything for her out of my own pocket. But for me, she should have starved in the streets.
She might have starved more comfortably there than in your attic.
I maintain a school of many pupils. I cannot keep them all in comfort without funds. But now, if she can pay for her schooling as the others do, I would be very pleased to keep her. Ha ha!
If Sarah herself wishes to return to you, I dare say Mr. Carrisford might not refuse to allow it. But that rests with Sarah. This requirement to plead for Sarah's acceptance clearly did not sit well with the woman, but she would not give up so easily.
Dear Sarah, I have not spoiled you, perhaps, but you know that your papa was pleased with your progress at my seminary. And I have always been fond of you. Yeah, right. Have you, Miss Minchin? I did not know that. We used to take tea together, do you recall? I have always had your best interests at heart. I have even allowed you to continue your education when you were unable to pay. If you return, all can be as it was.
Sarah's green eyes fixed on her with a quiet, determined look.
You know why I will not go home with you. You know quite well. Have you no gratitude? Are you completely heartless? I am very grateful for the good friends that have sustained me when I was in need, but you have never been my friend. I do not wish for any harm to come to you. I do not want to hurt you as you have hurt me, but I will never belong to you again.
Miss Minchin flinched, though she held herself proudly.
Perhaps she did the best that she could. She did give me a place to sleep and books to read. She was not kind, but she was not deliberately vicious most of the time. That is not enough. I will not allow obligation or forced gratitude to put me in a position where she can hurt me again. I am free now. I will have a new life. Free Becky! Ooh!
There was a great bustling around the front of Miss Minchin's Select Seminary as all of Sarah's belongings were removed and carried out to the house next door. The proprietress herself could do nothing but stand and fume, to have had such a chance and let it slip from her fingers. The girls were abuzz with whispers and rumors. Those who had been friends, like kind, dependable Ermengarde, came forward to wish Sarah good fortune on her travels. Others hid themselves away in shame at their own past behavior, or chagrin for not keeping up a connection which might now prove to be valuable. Far above, in the little attic room, the cheer was lessened. Once all of the new treasures were stripped and boxed and toted away, there was nothing left but the bare skeleton, cold and soulless as it had been before Sarah's exile to the garret. All of the magic was gone. Becky walked over to the iron bedstead that had once been Sarah's and laid her hand upon the mattress. Miss Minchin had insisted that Becky's second mattress be returned to the other attic to make the room suitable for habitation again if she could find another such maid. There was no way for Becky to refuse. The mattresses belonged to Miss Minchin after all. Everything did.
Oh, I got fancy. Becky? Oh, look, I have a little princess crown in my hair. Oh. Becky?
Oh, miss.
As Sarah in all her finery walked into the dingy little attic, Becky awkwardly adjusted the kerchief on her head.
Good afternoon, miss.
Isn't there anything you wanted to say to me?
Huh? Well, miss, I'm happy for you, I am. It's the best thing that could have happened. You deserve good things.
Oh, she's so nice.
Maybe now you'll go back to India like you wanted. Maybe you can meet that monkey's family in the jungle where it's warm and full of coconuts.
Oh, Becky, you silly precious thing.
Sarah caught up Becky's hands in her own.
Isn't there something else you wanted to tell me? Something you wanted to ask me?
Don't know what you mean, miss.
Didn't we make a promise to each other long ago?
I'm not keeping any secrets.
Not that. Didn't we promise always to tell each other if we were in trouble? If there's something we needed? I'll have a new home now. I'll be leaving this school. Maybe I'll find a new one. Maybe we'll travel. But isn't there something you need?
I just need you to be happy, miss.
Aw. Oh, Becky, can't you ask for anything for yourself?
Wouldn't be right, miss.
Then I will do it for you.
Before Becky's widening eyes, Sarah knelt on the bare attic floor, still clasping the other girl's hands in hers.
Will you do me the honor of coming with me and sharing my life forever? You have to say yes or no, Becky. I want to give you everything, but only if it's what you want.
Oh, miss.
That still isn't an answer.
You'll really take me with you and let me be your maid?
Oh, we're not going to make you be the maid, Becky. We're going to be friends. Princesses. I don't want you to be my maid. I want you to be my partner. To share my fortunes, just like Mr. Carrisford and my papa did. You deserve a happy ending just as much as I do. We are both the same, you and I, don't you see?
You mean I won't have to work no more if I don't want to? You'll take care of me?
I want to do more than protect you. I want to make you a princess.
And riding the carriage and all?
Oh, her eyes got all sparkly.
Yeah, I know you like that part.
We shall travel among the populace and bring gifts, just like Father Christmas.
Oh, miss.
And if you keep calling me miss, I'm going to have to call you the same in return. Becky, I love you. Now please, won't you say what you want? Will you come?
I'd go anywhere with you, miss. I mean, Sarah. Yes.
Sarah leapt to her feet and hugged her.
You see, the magic helped me to keep my promise. Now we need a new promise to live happily ever after.
There. We finally beat the game. It was a tough game to beat. That's for sure the top right.
Over the top game to beat. Look, hey, I got some chill.
Hey, it's your friend.
Hey, it's a jerk.
She always treated you with kindness and housed you when no one else would.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. She's horrible. Oh yeah, it's my old room. Hey.
And you never... What?
The maid.
What about the maid?
Never found anything about the maid. My maid.
Yeah, well, that's a different ending. Now, I've already explored all the endings. I have not read the actual book, though, although I might one day. So I knew when things wouldn't matter, and I let you freak out about it anyways.
Is this like some other games where like it really doesn't matter what I chose, I'm just going to end up this way?
No. I mean, Becky is kind of your default choice if you weren't good enough to explore, unlock all the stages for the other people. Becky is the one you get left with, but I like her ending the best anyways.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know what happens to the others, but I assume they, come with you. Is it just like swapped out like, it's not Becky, hello, it's Ermengarde? Is it essentially that? It
kind of is, but there's still a lot more there. While the ending will be similar, the journey will be different.
Yeah. Can the maid be one of the choices?
Yes.
So like the maid doesn't have to leave? Well, she gets thrown out, like does... Cause she leaves when the money's gone, right?
Yes.
So if you like focus on the maid, does she not leave at all?
She leaves, but you maintain contact with her.
Oh, okay.
And then you discover more about her history and why she was nice to you and everything.
Oh, she's not my mom, though.
She might be.
No, she's not. You wouldn't tell me. Oh, you have a line. You missed it.
Huh?
You have a line.
Oh, thank you for playing.
Good job. Very impressive.
And that's it. We have now completed one path. But that's as far as this series will go because it takes a lot of work to act out, edit, and do all of these parts for visual novels. Also, I keep a separate rendering with the background music in the game, but I can't upload that to YouTube because of licensing issues, copyright issues, I guess.
It takes a lot of tries for me to get my voices.
It takes a lot of tries for me to get it all stitched together seamlessly.
I like all the scenes where you have like 3 different voices, and you're just going, I can just enjoy the show,
Yeah, it wasn't quite so fair because even when we were playing the all-girl cast, I was still like half the girls.
Because you have voice skills. I have two voices.
I think it was like the redhead and the Lavinia.
Yeah,
I forget what the redhead's name was.
Jessie.
I forget. I think it was like Jessie and Lavinia.
Yes.
I think I was also like the 12-year-old.
Yeah, the little girl.
Was I also the maid, or were you the maid?
The maid like Becky? Oh, yeah, you had to be the French maid. There's no way I did the French voice.
So out of the 6 characters, I'm 5 of them.
Yes, well, you know what?
You're Ermengarde.
The depth of my voice acting skills are my normal voice and angry version of my normal voice. That's all I have. So I have Sarah's voice, which is roughly my own, except a little gentler, and Miss Minchin voice, which is angry self. So that's all I've got.
What'd you think of the game? What'd you think of the story?
I liked it. Like, I wish I knew what all the other endings were. That's how I usually feel at the end of these sort of things.
Well, we can always play through without reading aloud, or you can always just play it on your own as well. So there's no reason that we have to stop our adventure here. But I think for purposes of online publication, this is where the series will be finalized. Plus, as I said, I like this ending the best. I don't think I tried to steer you towards this ending. I definitely didn't try to help you towards the other endings either.
Well,
you did get to make your own decisions.
But I think that just the little bit I know of the characters, like that's would have been my natural go-to anyways.
Why?
Why? Well, because number one, wasn't her picture in the intro screen, so it seemed like she was the right one.
But
also,
true.
like, that would be, oh, she's suffering. You have to help her. She's, why? I'm not gonna fraternize with these people that are all fancy and reject me once I have no money. I mean, they wouldn't have rejected me if I did all their storylines, I don't know, but I mean, Ermengarde was the only one that was remotely acceptable, but she wasn't, sharpest crayon in the box, the brightest crayon in the box, whatever the phrase is.
So who do you think's brighter? Becky or Ermengarde?
I think Becky has greater... I think Ermengarde has been exposed to more, so she has more due to experience, but Becky may have more potential for all we know.
Alright.
Ooh, dinosaurs.
Thank you very much for watching Tran's play A Little Lily Princess. We'll see you in the next series.
I won.
We won. And thus concludes the adventures of Sarah Crew.